Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to podcast Room 303. This is episode 185. I'm your host, Jermaine Mendez. This is my co-host, Nicholas Morahan. And as always, we have with us the EPE. On today's speed edition of Room 303, we'll see how quickly we can get through a communion with E. It's always some mysterious topic, as E always likes to act in the shadows. And then we'll get into the AL Central Futures breakdown. Without further ado, how are you doing this evening, Nick?
Dehydrated.
One word answer. How are you doing this evening, Eric?
Not dehydrated.
Well,
that's two words.
That's two words.
But I'm the opposite.
You should have just said hydrated then.
No.
Oh my God.
I don't like to make things simple, dude.
Yeah, we're aware.
Breaking news, the Chicago Bulls have just taken the lead on the Indiana Pacers. For those of you listening, this episode will be posted during the week of the 10th of, sorry, not the 10th of March. It'd be like the 13th of March. I'd like for you to guess what game I'm watching right now. Bulls versus Pacers. Might take some research. All right, so.
Today was a good day. The Lakers beat the Supersonics.
I didn't have to use my AK.
Mama cook a breakfast with no hog.
Yep. All right, so that works. Eric, take it away.
Yeah, so for this community, real simple. The caveat here is you can only do it once. A round trip. You get to go and come back. So if you could only time travel once, would you go back with the knowledge you have and change things to benefit you now? Or would you go to the future, gain information, and then come back and change the lives of your children and future generations?
Yo, so there's a comedian that makes a really funny joke about this, and he's like, I think that if I took all the knowledge I had right now and went back into the future or into the past, he's like, I don't think I'd make a difference. Because I would tell them to do something, they'd be like, well, how do you do that? And he'd be like, oh, let me look it up. Oh. Like, oh. Yeah, I don't really know. I just kind of look things up in the future.
Yeah, I don't. I'm clearly going to the future. I'm not going to the past. I've already read about the past. The only thing I haven't read about is the future. So I'm going to the future, trying to see if we are indeed microchipped, if we all live in futuristic cities that are surveilled by the government at all times, where no one has any freedoms and owns anything. I'd be interested to see how that worked out. Also, it'd be crazy to just see what go to cities you've already seen and then see them 100 years in the future to see what that's about. I'd like to see how impactful Space Force is. I'd like to see flying cars. I'd like to see humans that are androids now, because everyone's going to willingly agree to modify their bodies with optic lenses and steel arms and go-go gadget penises. So I'm going into the future. And when I come back, fuck everyone. I don't have kids now. I'm not giving nobody nothing.
Yeah, I'm following the plot of Back to the Future too. I'm going forward. I'm taking a sports almanac. I'm coming back and I'm making overtime. Very, very smart. That at the beginning, people were like, dude, there's no way. But I'm going to find a way. I'm going to spend time researching why there is a way. So that way, and I'm not going to bet huge sums of money on it. But I'm going to gain that glory among my friends of like, yo, you remember 3 years ago when Nick said Leicester would win the Premier League? I was like, I fucking certainly do.
Yeah, I would bring that sports almanac back, and I would just bet all futures, like division win totals, and just never miss.
Yeah.
No one's ever going to be like, yo, what the fuck is this guy doing? I'm just
right.
I'm just picking based on the line you've said.
Right. It's your line.
And I'm going to be rich.
Right.
And then, maybe I'll leave $100 for some friends here and there, but fuck them.
I knew I was in this for the long haul.
Plus trip, am I right? Yeah, I'm going future. I don't know. Are you going past, Eric?
He looked down his notes. And he was like, "Well, not anymore."
No, I am. It's
Isn't
just
that what that look was?
I would go to the past based solely off the premise of I was looking at it from a viewpoint like I don't. It's not to go see the past. It's not to go see the future. It's to gain the information or use the information you have to change your current life or the future life. You know what I mean? Like for me, it's I go to the past just because I don't plan on having kids, so might as well bet on some or put some money on some Amazon stock or some shit like that and just change my life currently now as it's constructed since I'm not gonna have kids and have any. If I go to the future, all that information is just gonna die with me because I'm not gonna pass it down to anybody.
I thought you said you come back though.
Yeah.
No, you do come back, but that information I have from the future, like I'm not gonna pass. I can give it to my friends' kids or something, but it's not gonna affect my life because I die with the knowledge.
So Eric had to make that caveat because he asked me. He goes, "You have one trip, and you can either go to the past or the future. Which one are you taking?" In the same plot, and I was like, "Well, neither. Why do I care? I only get one trip. I ain't coming back."
One trip. I'm going to Japan. That's my trip.
Yep. I'm gonna do mushrooms. That'll be my trip.
Yeah, I don't know. The past doesn't interest me.
That's the only thing that I would do though. For Eric, that's the only thing that I would do. To Eric's point, I would go back to me in high school and be like, "Yo, just trust me.
Yeah.
Put a paycheck on Bitcoin right now and do not touch it. Do not touch it until 2016 and then sell it all."
If you're asking me if I can time travel, which direction I want to go in, it's always the future. But in this situation, it wouldn't be the future for me. But in almost any other situation, I'd rather go to the future and see everything. All the things you said, like see how humanity's evolved and shit.
So now we're getting into this conversation of, does me going back to the past, is this a butterfly effect situation?
That's why I don't want to go back to the past.
Right, because then I come back. Yeah, I told me to put money on Bitcoin, but now I don't have my daughter. I don't
exactly.
I don't want to come back and then I'm like, what the heck?
You have to figure out where the fuck you are in life.
And everybody already knows who I am, and I'll be the crazy one being like, "Wait, who are you?" And she's like, "I'm your wife." I'm like, "No, you're not."
You try to drive to work. You don't actually work there, so you don't know where the fuck you're working right now.
Then I get fired because I didn't show up to work.
No, I'm going to the future. I'm getting the answers to the next things to make a fuck ton of money. Probably tracking all Nancy Pelosi's stock market trades.
100%.
And then I'm coming back and I'm making the money for me then. And then I'm using that money to set up my family that does exist. I'm setting up trust funds with my name. I'm putting accounts in people's names, but all with money I've made. I'm not trying to go to the past, tell 15-year-old me XYZ, and then come back at 32 and be like, "Oh, fuck."
Could you, dude? I just had this scenario in my head. Could you imagine? You put money on Bitcoin, you sell it, you make, and now at 32, you would probably buy real estate. You would probably buy a couple of businesses, right? Could you imagine coming back and some assistant is like, "All right, Mr. Colon Mendez, it's time for the board meeting," and you're like, "The fucking what?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Okay, are we gonna buy Toshiba Technologies or Whamadine Solutions?" And you're like, "I don't fucking know." They're like, well, you knew yesterday.
I'm over here walking around in sweatpants. They're trying to get me in a board meeting.
Just coming back. Yeah. Could you imagine Eric goes back, makes some decision that makes him a billionaire, comes back to the future, and we have to watch Eric be like, "I run what? I run."
Yeah, but you have to take.
And you didn't do drugs at all.
You take into account your personality. Like, if I went back, gave myself
my personality.
I became rich, I wouldn't be on a board of a business. That's not my personality.
Well, no, okay. Well, no, okay. Well, no. Now we're talking about time travel that involves dual personalities.
Your personality is not the same.
You don't change, Eric. You don't change because you took yourself out of time. And then when you put yourself back in time, you're in your life, but with Eric before he changed shit. So they're expecting you to run a Fortune 500 company. And you're going to step in and be like, "Anybody want Uber Eats for dinner?"
That'd be pretty accurate. They'd be like,
"Yeah." They'd be like, Mr. Washington, are you okay?
Like, why don't you just have your chef cook something up?
And you'd be like, a what? A what now?
Bro,
Like
could you imagine I time travel from San Diego to the past, right? I come back. What if I don't even live in San Diego anymore? Right? And I time travel back to the apartment that I left from, and I'm sitting there with like a Polish family that doesn't speak a lick of English, right?
Yeah, this is a skit for a comedy show.
It's actually the United Countries of States. It's not even called United States of America anymore.
Right.
Like
The States of United America.
everyone speaks Chinese now. I don't even know the working language in America. Hell no, bro. I'm going to the future. I'm developing an Iron Man suit, and I'm bringing it back, and I'm fighting crime. Like, there's no chance I'm going into the past and changing everything so drastically. I would hate, like, I don't deal with anxiety as much as most people my age now. It seems like everyone has a fucking crippling anxiety because they can't make decisions. But coming back and not knowing a single lick about your life, I mean, you're pretty much just dealing with like amnesia. And imagine trying to come back and learn.
That's so funny.
I'm not thrilled about that.
You would get your perfect life, and then you would ruin it
so quickly. Bro.
You would be like, oh my god, this is exactly the life I wanted. How the fuck did I get here?
You're over here busting the same jokes, and they're like even more tasteless now because
they're like, shit. Mr. Morahan, you can't be saying that. Our shareholders.
Well, I'll be.
I am a shareholder. They're like, no, you're not. You're the man.
I just come back out of the time jump, and I'm like, does anyone have any orange slices?
They're like, Mr. Morahan, you can't eat gluten anymore. No!
You imagine you go back in time and you come back to where you're supposed to be at the current time frame or whatever, and you don't have any legs, and you don't know how you don't have any legs.
You're just dead.
You come back and you're dead. You've changed the time jump so bad that you're dead now. And it's like, shit, I only had one round trip. I can't go back and fix it.
You're just in the coffin. You're like, shit.
Yeah, I'm going with future, bro. There's too many variables going into the past.
Yeah, I'd rather deal with the IRS being like, how'd you make $100 million this year? Lucky sports betting?
Yeah, dude, I'm good. I like my legs.
Yeah, I like my legs.
All right, so that wraps up Communion with Ease. Today's topic was if you had one round trip, United timelines, not United Airlines, which would you rather go to, the future or the past? I think I've resoundingly settled for myself. I'm going to the future. The past. You imagine you type in the wrong date for the past, you end up fucking fighting T-Rexes.
Bro, I wouldn't know any of my passwords anymore.
Yeah, I'm good.
I make some complicated ass passwords. Imagine you came back, you couldn't get in your your PIN number's changed. You're like, why the fuck would I change that?
Dude, my biggest fear would be like, if I went back in time and I came back, right, and I was like a Celtics fan. You know how upset I'd be if I was a Celtics fan? First of all,
Mr. Morahan, here's your tickets to your favorite team, the Detroit Red Wings.
Bro.
It's
5 times got blacked. Just gone, bro. Like, there's no chance. I hate people from Boston because they suck. I hate Boston sports teams because they suck. Imagine being a Boston sports fan. I would just be so.
You pop back into your apartment. Everything's normal. You live there, but you're one of those super fans where everything.
No.
It's Boston Celtics. The glasses, the plates, the refrigerator magnets.
Their colorway is ugly, though.
You look down, Jermaine, You're in a pair of Boston Celtics boxers.
No, dude, their colorway's too ugly for that, bro.
Boston Celtics boxers. Boston Celtics socks. Nike J's that are green and white.
I don't want that creepy white racist leprechaun all over my fucking house. No chance, dude. I would off myself. Devil's advocate style, Keanu Reeves, like, hey, you ain't getting me, fuck you, bam.
Right.
But that's neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and get into this AL Central Futures review, Nick.
AL Central Futures review. After that, where Jermaine doesn't want to blap himself because he's a Celtics fan. So the AL Central last year, they had one team, the team that won the division, also qualified for the playoffs. The Cleveland Guardians won 92 games. They finished 11 games ahead of the Chicago White Sox, who won 81 games, 14 games ahead of the Minnesota Twins, who won 78 despite their star-studded roster. Jermaine's Darlings last year finished fourth to Detroit Tigers. They won 66 games.
And the World Series.
And the World Series in his mind. I'm going to Carolina in my mind. And the Kansas City Royals finished last in the division, 27 games behind the Guardians with 65 wins. Based on luck overall, the Cleveland Guardians were actually, I mentioned in our last show, one of the three teams in the MLB who had no difference in wins by luck. So their 92 wins were their 92 wins. The Chicago White Sox were a bit unlucky. They were 4 wins below where they should have been and about 14 below where I thought they would be. They had 85. The Minnesota Twins were a little bit luckier, 2 wins above. They should have finished with 76. The Detroit Tigers were also lucky with the 2 wins. They should have finished at 64. And the Kansas City Royals were the luckiest team in the division, finishing 3 wins above where they should.
Wow, 3.
If we look at offseason losses and additions, the division-winning Cleveland Guardians did not lose really anyone of consequence and added Josh Bell from the Nats and Padres, really, and Mike Zunino from the Tampa Bay Rays. So if we look at that, they've added a team that won the division last year with 92 wins has added 5 wins this offseason. Okay. Second division, and always my darlings, the Chicago White Sox didn't do too good in free agency. They lost Jose Abreu to the Astros, a major blow for them.
Big loss.
We talked about last episode, Johnny Cueto is going to anchor that resurgent Marlins team, and Josh Harrison went to the Phillies. They added Andrew Benintendi from the Royals. They added, actually re-signed Elvis Andrus after getting him from Oakland at the trade deadline, and added San Diego Padres pitcher Mike Clevenger, who has yet to recover from his Tommy John surgery of 2 years ago. He's recovered from it, but he's yet to be playing at the level before he had Tommy John surgery. This all amounts to the Chicago White Sox, who underperformed last year, underperforming in free agency, minus 3 wins, or they've lost 3 wins in the offseason. The Minnesota Twins let Geno Urshela walk in the offseason. He went to Los Angeles. They did add Christian Velasquez from Houston, Kyle Farmer and Donovan Solano from Cincinnati, and Joey Gallo from the Dodgers. They also were the benefactors of Carlos Correa's trip around the MLB this offseason as he landed right back with the Minnesota Twins and re-signed with them. That all amounted to Minnesota gaining 1 win in the offseason. That Correa re-signing was a very, very good move by Minnesota. Detroit, Jermaine's darlings. He thought they were going to do really well last year. They let him down. They lost Robbie Grossman, traded him away at the deadline to the Braves. He then went to the Rangers. And Michael Fulmer, they also traded away to the Twins interdivision. Fulmer has since left the division and moved on to the Chicago Cubs.
Yay!
In the offseason, the Tigers made some good depth moves. They added Michael Lorenzo, pitcher from the Angels, and Matt Boyd, a pitcher from Seattle. That's all amounted to the Tigers pretty much breaking even. They're on the positive side. If you round up, they added a win this offseason. The last team in this division, the Kansas City Royals, they lost Andrew Benintendi to the White Sox. You would have really liked to see him leave the division. And Carlos Santana, they got rid of at the deadline to Seattle. Excuse me.
I was what happened?
Yeah. They lost Carlos Santana they got rid of Carlos Santana at the deadline to the Mariners. He then has gone to the Pirates. They did sign Jordan Lyles from the Baltimore Orioles. This all amounts to Kansas City being about a win and a half below. So they lost a win and a half in free agency.
They were already so bad, though.
I think, as teased on our last episode, that the Kansas City Royals will have the worst record in baseball. I believe that was plus 1,200 on our last episode.
Yeah, I mean, based on that, I guess it's not really that big a leap. This division feels pretty much chalk again.
Yeah. Listen, I'll say it. I'll say it without actually meaning it this year. I think the White Sox still have a team that Tony La Russa ran into the ground last year. But I think Terry Francona is a very good manager for the Guardians. So without further ado, let's get into the betting picks.
And Pedro Grifol is the new manager for the White Sox.
Word. All right, so moving into the picks here for the AL Central. For division winner, the Cleveland Guardians have the best odds, as they said, plus 135. They actually have the Twins with the second best odds at plus 225. White Sox plus 240, Tigers plus 2,200, and the Kansas City Royals at plus 3,000. I'd say Cleveland. Fellas, what are you guys taking?
I will also be taking Cleveland.
I'm going to take Cleveland. As much as I sit here and believe that Cleveland is going to fall off eventually, they continue to run this division, and I still see them continuing to run this division. So,
yep.
Cool. So we're going to move into the regular season win totals for these teams. Again, always in alphabetical order. Chicago White Sox, their line has been set at 83.5.
Such a good line. Such a good line. Give me the under.
Oh, how you going to call that, ref? How you going to call that, ref? He didn't even foul. You went with the under on the White Sox?
The under.
I thought you just said Tony La Russa.
The under. I don't like it. Bet the under.
Look, my expectations for the White Sox have hit an all-time low, so I'll take the under as well on this one.
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
Take the under. All right, so moving into Cleveland, their win total was set at 86.5.
Man, that feels good too.
I want the over.
Jermaine?
I'll take the over, but that feels pretty.
To Jermaine's point, it's not going to take a lot to win the AL Central this year.
Yeah. Yo, I could see them winning 86 wins and winning the division. So, winning 86 wins, winning 86 games.
Winning 86 wins. That's, the team that wins the most.
All right, moving to Detroit. The Tigers line was set at 70.5.
What a great line.
Oh, man.
What a great line.
I'll go under.
This is such a bad division. I don't think they got better. I learned my lesson. Give me the under.
All right.
They're still winning the World Series this year, though.
Oh, yeah. So the Kansas City Royals, their line was set at
under
69.5.
Under.
Hammer. Jermaine puts the nail. I'll tell you what to do. Hammer.
Under.
And then
worst record in baseball.
To close out this division, the Twins, their line was set at 83.5.
It's so crazy that 83.5 is the same line for the White Sox and the Twins.
Under.
Under at -110. Cool.
Man, did I really just take the under for all these? I mean, that tells me that it's not going to hit.
All the wins in the Central are going to the AL East. The black hole of wins that is the AL East.
Oh, it's just I don't think any of these teams are particularly good, and if any of them suffer one injury, I mean,
like the White Sox last year, so many injuries.
I'll take the under.
All right. Perfect. We'll move to teams making the playoffs. Let me get this pulled up here.
There's one.
No, yes, no, no,
yeah,
no.
Yeah, Eric, you don't even have to go through all of them. There's one. It's the Cleveland Guardians. Ooh. But yes is -135. Okay, Eric, go through them.
All right. So the Chicago White Sox, yes, +125, no, -145.
I still think it's no for the White Sox.
We want it to be yes, but it's no.
I do want it to be yes. So bad.
All right. And then for Cleveland, obviously yes, -135, no, +115.
Someone's got to win the division, so someone will make the playoffs. If I'm picking Cleveland to win the division, therefore
Right.
I'm picking Cleveland, yes, to make it -135.
All right.
Yeah.
And then just to give the odds, Detroit, yes would be +1,200 and no would be -2,500. Safe
No.
to assume we're all taking no.
Yeah. The debate in this division is whether Chicago can somehow. If Cleveland pulls a Chicago, then Chicago wins the division this year. But right now, without knowing injuries, yeah.
All right. And then again, just running through it. Kansas City, yes, +1,100, no, -2,000. That's a no for everybody.
No.
All right.
There's no way I could sit here and talk about how they're going to have the worst record and put
Right.
yes, right?
And then Minnesota, we're all going to take. So just to give you guys the odds, a yes is +130 and no is -155. You guys are all taking no?
No.
Yeah, I don't. I think the AL East will get the wild card spots again. So
All of them.
all of them.
All right.
So it's 3 wild card spots and 3 division winners, right?
Correct.
Maybe the Mariners can make it.
The Mariners or the
Or who?
Mariners or
The Astros? Oh, in that division? I don't know who's in that Mariners division. Mariners,
on.
Stros.
pull the thread.
Mariners, Stros. I'm gonna have to look at this division. I'm blanking on the rest of this division.
He swims in a stream. Like a cold mountain stream.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not taking the Angels.
Do it.
No. Fuck
Do
the
it.
Angels.
This is the best year.
No. I've done it too many times, God damn it. I know
right.
that this is the AL Central podcast. I have done this too many times. I've been too excited too often for the fucking goddamn Angels. If they make the playoffs this year, I will drive to their stadium and throw an egg at it.
By the way, my White Sox of this year is the Angels.
In case you didn't know, the cost of eggs makes that an extraordinarily
It's almost an act of domestic terrorism.
inefficient trip, but it deserves it.
And
Fuck
gas.
the Angels.
And gas, too.
You saw that Ohtani is I know this is the AL Central Division, but the Dodgers are the favorite for Ohtani because of some of the moves they made.
Nope. They're not going to be the favorite. Because our boy Mikey T's playing October baseball.
Get the fuck out of here. Dude.
All right,
Mike Trout's never playing playoff baseball.
Back to the AL Central. Eric, take us through the finishing position.
All right, so going into the division finishing positions, Chicago White Sox, their best odds is second at +220. You guys both have Cleveland winning, so I'm assuming you're going to take them second. But first for them would be +240, third would be +260, fourth would be +500, and fifth would be +1,300. What are you guys doing?
This is the great Minnesota-Chicago debate. Who do you think's going to get second, Nick? Twins or White Sox?
White Sox.
I don't know, man. I'm just sick and tired of betting on the White Sox. I'll take second as well. I'm gonna go chalk. I'll take second with Minnesota third.
Okay. So we obviously all have Cleveland winning the division. So first for them is plus 135. If you guys don't think they are, I'll give you second and third. Second is plus 220. Third is plus 350. Moving into Detroit, they had the best odds of finishing fifth at plus 130, fourth plus 185, third plus 425, second plus 900, and first plus 2200. What do you guys got?
Detroit is projected a higher line of win totals, but they have them with the best odds to finish fifth. This is what we talk about all the time
Free
with
money.
these futures.
Free money.
Yes, I will take Detroit to finish fourth at plus 185.
Bartender.
Make that a double.
Bartender, make that a double.
And it's always so crazy to me that happens.
Yeah.
Right.
That's that value.
Yeah.
Moving into Kansas City. The best odds is also for fifth place at plus 105, fourth plus 190, third plus 500, second plus 1100, and first plus 3000. What do you guys got?
They even think that Kansas City to finish fifth is more likely than Detroit to finish fifth because Detroit is plus 130.
Right.
Kansas City is plus 105.
But they both have them as the favorites. I don't get it. But Kansas City will finish fifth, and the fact that you can get plus money is pretty friggin' awesome.
Yeah. I was expecting it to be even. We got an extra 5 odds, as my executive producer likes to say.
Right.
I didn't know how to say it properly, so I just winged it. And then moving
hopefully they don't win a couple of extra wins.
Moving to the last team of the division here, Minnesota. Obviously, we have them finishing third. But they have the best odds. Their best odds is first at plus 225, second at plus 225, third at plus 260, fourth at plus 550, and fifth at plus 1300. Based as currently constructed, we all have them to go in third at plus 260.
They have They have the same odds for first and second. It's pretty interesting.
as the winners, yeah.
It's pretty funny, yeah.
Kind of crazy.
I feel like this division's chalk.
Yeah.
So we all have the same trifecta. So first Cleveland, second Chicago, third Minnesota. That's plus 500 odds.
Ooh. That's nice. Unless we get the Minnesota team that we've been waiting for. And then
if we get the Minnesota team that people have been waiting for and not the White Sox team people have been waiting for, I'm going to be pretty upset.
People are going to fight. Dude, I mean, like, I don't know, man. This seems like the worst division in baseball.
Oh man, you know what? It's always the Central divisions, though. This
seems like the worst division in baseball because the team that got the team that got I almost said the most better. The team that got the most better is banking on a Josh Bell to have the season that he had last year. The Guardians are banking on Josh Bell to have a career year to continue to refund them the price that they paid for him in free agency. I don't feel like any team got that good in free agency this year.
No, yeah, and I'm betting on the Cleveland Guardians just purely because they have the best player in the division, in my opinion. Jose Ramirez, aka Bam Bam.
Bam Bam.
I think he's the best player in that division. I'm a big Josh Bell fan. I was pretty disappointed that the Padres didn't retain his services, but I guess I can't really be upset with what the Padres did this offseason. We'll get into that when we discuss the NL West, aka Nick's least favorite division. Josh Bell. I mean, I guess I'll take Xander Bogaerts over Josh Bell.
I would too. Although Josh Bell across his career with the Pirates and the Nationals has been an unsung guy who's going to go out there, get you 20 home runs, get you 80 RBIs, and hit 275 or above.
Yeah.
Last year he just did more of that and got paid for it. So
Yeah. Good for him. I remember watching him a ton because obviously the Cubs play the Pirates a lot. So I remember watching him a ton. I thought him getting traded to the Padres was great. I expected the Padres to to do more, but they lost the Phillies. At least they bounced the Dodgers. We can all be happy about that.
Amen.
The Dodgers continue to pay to not win the World Series, and it actually fills my balls. Makes me very, very happy to see that always. And man,
I said it multiple times, but my best bet from this division is Kansas City to finish with the worst record at plus 1,200. Worst record in the MLB, fewest wins, plus 1,200.
Yeah.
They're depending on Zach Greinke. although did you see the thing in spring training with Zach Greinke using the pitch comm machine and shaking himself off?
No. Oh, what's the pitch comm machine?
So the pitch comm machine is so that you don't steal signs. So it's basically the catcher has this thing either on his wrist, I think it is on his wrist, and he taps a certain pitch, which sends a buzz to the pitcher. The pitcher's wearing a thing on his belt, and it buzzes him for the pitch.
Okay.
And the pitcher acknowledges yes. It's basically to reduce sign stealing because you can't steal a sign if a catcher's like boop.
They do it They do it electronically.
Yeah.
What?
So they flipped it in the spring training game. The Royals flipped it, and they let Zach Greinke call his pitches, and the catcher wore the pitch comm thing. So he called a pitch. He called a pitch, shook himself off, and called another pitch.
Zach Greinke is always entertaining to watch on the mound.
And then picked a guy off at first.
I saw something about this, and I don't remember what team it was, but their team could hear the pitch comm because it was so loud. They could hear it, and the dude still threw 2 scoreless innings.
Right. Listen,
that's how hard hitting a baseball is.
Here's the thing. Aside from being he's throwing a fastball, you don't know where it's going.
Yeah, of course.
Right. The pitch comm isn't like throw it low and inside.
Yeah, dude. I just thought it was crazy. I was like, yo, you're hearing the pitch and he's scoreless? Like, I don't even know if they got a hit. I think it was 2 hitless innings. Like that. Come on, guys. Come on.
Hilarious.
Come on.
I think he's throwing a curveball, but I can't seem to fucking hit it.
Yeah, famous last words. It's incredibly difficult to hit a baseball, man.
I still think that has to put baseball up on one of the most physically difficult sports. Maybe the use of the word physical is not right.
That's what threw me off.
It's one of the most difficult sports that even
absolutely
the best pitcher in baseball. There is a select percentage. There are about, if you take that the MLB has about 750 players in it, and you divide that in half between position players and pitchers, you're basically saying that there's 375 people on this planet that if a pitcher goes, I'm throwing fastball, can hit it.
And here's the thing. If you watch some of these teams, they can't hit it.
And I'm not sure all of those 375, like going against Max Scherzer, if he was like, hey, I'm throwing a slider now.
Yeah, it's probably not happening, bro.
Yeah.
It's probably not happening. So does that actually kind of defend the Houston Astros and the Red Sox and the sign stealing?
Listen, okay, I make this argument every time. It's the same argument with steroids that it is. You still got to hit a baseball, right? You still got like the trash can didn't help them make plays on defense or throw good pitches to the other. Like, yeah, it let them put up runs, but it didn't give them a good bullpen or a good Jesus Christ, I'm going to regret saying this. Or it didn't help Dusty Baker out when he needed to do a position change, a pitch runner. Like there wasn't some guy in the GM booth being like, Dusty, pitch runner, I'm banging the trash can. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's one element of baseball. And yeah, it's what helps scores runs. But believe me, as a Colorado Rockies fan, I've seen teams that can score 12 runs. It doesn't matter if you get beat by the other team scoring 13. Like, Coors Field is amazing. You'll see a bunch of home runs. It doesn't matter because we're still going to lose by one anyway. It's going to be 13 to 12 at the end of the day. So, yeah. And the reason for people who say the Astros are cheaters and they should be stripped of the World Series, you guys need to do your research and understand that baseball, of all the professional sports, crushes cheaters. Your leading home run hitter of all time is not in the Hall of Fame. Your hits leader of all time is not in the Hall of Fame. There's an entire team that is banned from history because they cheated. Baseball is not kind to people who cheat against the game. So you won't think you think that Rob Manfred wouldn't hesitate for a second to ban the Astros? It's because everybody was cheating. Every single MLB team was cheating in some way. The Astros just had the talent and maybe the luckiness to do it better.
Yeah, fuck the Astros.
But fuck the Astros.
I'm glad to see that you're all aboard on that Dusty Baker being a good manager train. It really warms my heart that you came out and said that on the podcast. I think it was good for the fans to hear you say that the manager still had to make the right decisions in the right moments.
Fucking octogenarian managers.
So, yeah, I just thought it really just, it was kind of like the Grinch when his heart grew 10 times. So,
Dusty Baker.
It was good to see that you're finally on board the Dusty train, bro. The Bake Show. Welcome to the Bake Show, Nick.
I hate that.
All right, you guys got anything else for the roomies?
Nothing for me.
All right, we got a quick episode for you guys. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Podcast Room303. I've been your host, Jermaine Mendez. This is my co-host, Nicholas Morahan. And as always, we have with us the EPE. We'll see you next time when you come on down and step into the room.